What if Bonnie stopped playing with her toys forever? Not because she grew up, but because the world convinced her she shouldn't anymore. In Toy Story 5, the toys face a completely different kind of threat. It's not a villain or another toy. It's something far harder to fight: technology. As Bonnie spends more and more time staring at a screen, Jessie is forced to relive the fear that haunted her for years: the fear of being forgotten. The story begins when Buzz wakes up on an unfamiliar beach. Surrounding him is a massive group of brand new Buzz Lightyear figures. These newer models are far more advanced, and they immediately sync with one another as they begin searching for a way out. But after exploring the area, they discover a terrible truth. They're stranded on a deserted island. With few options left, they spend the night staring at the stars and eventually reach a conclusion. If they can somehow contact Star Command, there may still be a way to escape. Meanwhile, Jessie is enjoying another day with Bonnie. During one of their games, Bonnie promises that she will always love her. But not long afterward, something happens that deeply worries Jessie. Bonnie notices other children playing nearby but doesn't have the courage to approach them. She even starts wondering why nobody wants to be her friend. Concerned for Bonnie, Jessie decides to find out what's going on. Alongside Bullseye, she discovers that kids don't play the way they used to. Instead of running around, creating stories, and spending time with their toys, they're all glued to a screen. That's when a new device called LilyPad enters the picture. The gadget quickly captures Bonnie's attention. Every day she spends more time using it and less time playing with her toys. To Jessie, this is a major warning sign. She's been through something like this before, and she knows exactly how that story ends. At first, however, LilyPad seems to be helping Bonnie. Through the app, she starts connecting with several girls from her dance class. This sparks a growing conflict between Jessie and the device. While LilyPad insists it's helping Bonnie make friends, Jessie is convinced that no screen can ever replace a real friendship. Not long afterward, Bonnie receives an invitation to a sleepover. While the other toys believe things are finally getting better, Jessie can't shake her concerns. That night, she reaches out to Woody and confesses her greatest fear: that Bonnie will replace them the same way Emily replaced her all those years ago. Determined to help, Jessie sneaks into Bonnie's belongings with Bullseye and follows her to the sleepover. But once they arrive, Jessie discovers a reality far worse than she imagined. Every girl at the sleepover is completely absorbed in her iPad. Bonnie tries to start a conversation and even takes out Jessie and Bullseye so they can all play together. Instead, the other girls mock her for still playing with toys. For the first time in her life, Bonnie feels ashamed of something she has always loved. Humiliated, she puts her toys away in the car. Realizing their plan has failed, Jessie and Bullseye climb out and watch through a nearby window as Bonnie tries to fit in with the other girls. But nothing changes. Everyone remains focused on their screens, barely speaking to one another. And eventually Bonnie gives in and does the exact same thing. While watching from outside, Jessie and Bullseye fall from a tree. An elderly woman finds them and picks them up. After checking the tag on Bullseye's leg, she finds an address, and the elderly couple decides to drop them into the mailbox of that house. Once there, the two become separated when a girl named Blaze discovers Bullseye and takes him to her room. Jessie tries to get him back, but instead she stumbles upon a small community of abandoned toys that have spent years waiting for the chance to matter to someone again. Meanwhile, Bonnie returns home from the sleepover completely discouraged. The toys immediately notice that something is wrong, especially since Jessie is still missing. Before long, they learn what happened. Bonnie was ignored by the other girls and even mocked for still playing with toys. To Woody, this confirms a troubling realization. Bonnie isn't pulling away from her toys because she's growing up. She's doing it because she feels pressured to change in order to fit in. Back at the farm, Jessie continues searching for Bullseye while getting to know Blaze and the technological devices that live alongside her. But the more time she spends there, the more she realizes they aren't so different from toys after all. Many of them have been forgotten, replaced by newer models, or left sitting in drawers for years. Little by little, Jessie begins to understand that technology isn't the real problem. The real problem is the fear of being replaced. Later, thanks to one of Jessie's carefully orchestrated plans, Bonnie's mother discovers that Blaze has Jessie and Bullseye. She manages to get the farm's address and sets out to retrieve the missing toys. However, during the trip, the same girls who mocked Bonnie learn through the LilyPad chat that she lost her toys and immediately begin making fun of her again. The pressure becomes overwhelming, and out of embarrassment, Bonnie tells Blaze that she can keep Jessie and Bullseye if she wants. Jessie overhears those words and feels as though her worst fears have finally come true. Convinced that she no longer has a place in Bonnie's life, Jessie decides to leave on her own. She even tries to persuade Bullseye to stay with Blaze, believing he'll have a better life there. As she wanders away, Jessie eventually finds herself standing before the old swing where she used to play with Emily. There, she discovers something that completely changes the way she sees everything. Carved into one of the nearby trees is her name. As she looks around, she also finds a box filled with Emily's old keepsakes. Inside, she uncovers an unexpected revelation. Years later, Emily chose to name her own daughter Jessie in her honor. In that moment, Jessie finally understands the truth. Emily never forgot about her. She simply grew up, moved forward with her life, and held on to the memories of the happy moments they shared together. That realization also helps her understand something important about Bonnie. Just because Bonnie is growing up doesn't mean she has stopped loving her. She may not play the same way she once did, but Jessie will always be part of her story and part of the memories she'll carry with her for the rest of her life. While all of this is happening, Bonnie and her mother stop for ice cream. During the break, Bonnie's mom decides to look through the conversations her daughter has been having with the other girls and finally discovers the truth. Lilypad witnesses the conversation as well and at last realizes the harm it has caused. Its goal was always to help Bonnie make friends. But without meaning to, it pushed her towards seeking approval from people who never accepted her for who she truly was. Overwhelmed with guilt and convinced that it has failed, Lilypad decides to leave on its own and ends up climbing into a donation truck. When Jessie, Woody, and the others learn what happened, they immediately set out to find it. They now understand that Lilypad was never the enemy. Just like them, it was only trying to help Bonnie in the best way it knew how. With the help of Blaze's horses, the group races against time to catch the truck before it's too late. After overcoming several obstacles along the way, they finally manage to reach it and convince Lilypad to come back. But a new problem quickly arises. They are now stranded far from home with no way to return. Fortunately, Lilypad discovers something unexpected about the newer Buzz Lightyear models. Thanks to their constant software updates, they possess special abilities that the original Buzz figures never had. Once activated, the Space Rangers deploy advanced flight systems that allow them to soar through the sky like drones. With a new way to travel, the entire group finally begins the journey home. Along the way, Buzz decides it's time to be honest with Jessie. After everything they've been through together, he no longer wants to hide how he feels. But before he can finish what he's trying to say, Jessie beats him to it and agrees to be his girlfriend. Later, following a suggestion sent through Lilypad, Bonnie invites Blaze to visit her along with Jessie and Bullseye. When the two girls finally meet in person, they discover they have far more in common than either of them expected. They both love toys, struggle to make friends, and often feel like they don't quite fit in with everyone else. As they spend more time together, Bonnie slowly regains the confidence she had lost. She no longer feels embarrassed by the things she enjoys, and she realizes that she doesn't need everyone's approval to be happy. What truly matters is finding people who accept her exactly as she is. With the conflict finally resolved, Woody returns to Bo Peep so they can continue helping lost toys, while Jessie chooses to stay by Bonnie's side as she enters this new stage of her life. Sometime later, another wedding is held. This time, the bride and groom are Jessie and Buzz Lightyear. After everything they endured together, the sheriff and the Space Ranger finally make their relationship official, surrounded by all of their friends, and that seems to be the end of the story. However, in the post-credits scene, a massive wave of new Buzz Lightyear figures descends from the sky like drones. Every student ends up adopting one, and even a teacher takes one home. Everything appears perfect until one of the children shows up wearing an Emperor Zurg backpack and mentions that he hopes to see his beloved son again someday, delivering one final joke before the movie comes to an end.